Okay, well, I have a question. So you've come up with ways to help young people who basically to finish high school. But we in Prince George's County, we still have a very large problem with the number of people who don't have technology at their hands. So, and they can go to the library, but then if they go to the library, they might as well go to school. So what's your solution for helping to get the technology into the hands of those individuals to help to avoid the dropout or to decrease the dropout rate?
We were thinking that maybe people that don't use their iPads or don't have any use for them anymore could maybe donate them to schools for students to use that don't have them at all. So we can do that for the schools.
And not only just iPads, they could donate computers, laptops, even smartboards if they do have it. And we can start implementing it in schools. And we might go one by one through schools, but it will get out.
And is there a need for a setup for the at-home student? Is there a need to do anything in particular on whatever technology medium they're using, whether it's the iPad, a laptop, so that they can have access? Or is it just a simple matter of getting to a website?
It's just the website. The website will tell them everything they need to know in order to get these kinds of things.
Security, passwords,
Yeah, we'll have all that up on the website.
So then the student who is utilizing the technology at home then has to make arrangements with the school in order to do this. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct, because the teacher needs to know which students are out and what meeting number they need to get inside the video conference.
But on our website, we have a way that you can contact your teachers without actually going up to the school. That's why we had a list of faculty members from each school in Prince George's County.
Sure. Great, excellent presentation. It's wonderful. One of the iPads and laptops are great, but our smartphones that many of you, probably all of you, carry on a regular basis can also do some of this, but it's also kind of controversial for young people like yourselves to have your phones in school. Could you talk about that, or what do you think about how your smartphones can be used productively in school in order to do some of this work?
We know that maybe some teachers may not allow it, but saying that if we give these to them, the teachers will know, oh, this is only for school use. You can't use your cell phones. Like, the cell phones are not permitted at all. We were only thinking of the iPads and the Kindles and stuff to give to the students.
But we'll add that to our agenda to start looking at.
How are you going to get around the gum chewing bit?
I actually put a link on the website that shows the British theory of how they figured out that chewing gum can increase like your memories.
During the test.
Oh,
Not all day long, just during the test.
Not stuck on
for test no problem.
Responsible disposal? Is that the reason why? I'm very serious about that.
Do not put it under the desk.
And what about those who crack gum when they chew? There are many people like that. I'm serious. I'm very serious about that because, maybe, I don't know why it happens. I don't understand the science behind it, but when some people chew gum, it pops. And their chewing gum during a test can be distracting to my neighbor here, which could cause him to have problems concentrating, and therefore he could miss about 3 questions for lack of concentration because...
I was going to miss them anyway. Did you think about that in your, and that actually is a good question, in your analysis, because I had a couple of questions about your hypothesis, and whether in fact you prove your point. But in each one of the areas where you came up in conclusion, like the gum, you gave us an example of gum chewing, did you look at some of the factors in terms of the opposite effect. You know, what effect would it have on the students there if you chew gum or people putting gum under the table? Did you look at that and any of the conclusions that would help increase test scores and decrease dropout rates?
Yes. I feel as though like if the student has gum under the desk, then like you won't get the gum before the test, because I feel like if you mess up once, then you won't get any more gum.
Let me ask you this about, go back to your hypothesis. The first part you said we believe that more technology in schools will increase test scores, and the second part was decreased dropout rates. And I kind of got through the presentation the dropout rates, how you would use technology to help people at home. Where in it, if you could help me see, did you show where the technology can increase test scores? And to add on to that question, are there examples of things that we're doing right now in your research in the schools that says, here's an example of how we can use technology to increase test scores? It's a long question, so I'd be glad to repeat it.
Well, WebEx allows teachers to conference with subject matter experts. So if they have a problem teaching a certain part of their curriculum, they can conference that subject matter expert for their particular section. So that will eliminate some of the problems they have with students not understanding parts of the curriculum.
How does the feedback go with the students who, let's say I'm a student, I'm very slow, which is a true statement, and I need help. How do I let's say it's, I've got the technology here, I'm at home, and I don't understand what the teacher is saying or the expert they have on there. How do I communicate to either get an understanding or to get extra help? Think about it.
Can you repeat the question?
Right. I mean, I know it's a communication one way with the teacher, but in thinking through a lot of the questions, especially if they're at home, one, I guess there are two things that would come to mind. Is one, how do I get a question answered if I'm having problems? And two, how do I know if I'm the teacher that I'm engaging the student at home, in the lesson that's being taken place? Did you think about that in your analysis? Like, how do we know that we're engaging? Because part of what we know is that students drop out or tune out because they're not engaged. And how do we make sure we're engaged? Is there a way of measuring that?
Well, when students stop participating, that usually means that they're not engaged in what the teacher is talking about. So they can find a teacher that uses a different method of teaching, like hands-on or more of a lecture type teacher.
Now, it leads me to the last one. Again, back to what I said earlier, which is, did you see any examples outside, either in Prince George's County or other school districts, where they're using this technology and it has caused test scores to go up as a model that we could replicate here? Do you guys look at anything around the country or in the area?
We actually know at Fairmont they started using the WebEx, and they've stated that when using WebEx, their test scores and their dropout rate has gone down because they become more interactive.
Yes,
That's right. It's an exceptional presentation, and I thank you guys for putting the amount of effort into this you did. There's an old saying that says you can bring a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. So let's talk about your experience in terms of your people that you hang out with, the others. You're all from different schools and that school population. This is all about access. Do you see your friends, your school colleagues, 7 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night, picking up that device and really going back through their classwork, and it's really making a difference because they're able to do it when it's most relevant for them, where they have the time to really put in the effort? And realistically, do you see that? And is that 50%? Is that 70%? What do you think?
I know some students, they like probably 50% of the people that I know will go home and study for their classes, but the others are not interested in it.
I think we all have friends like that.
But not any of you, right?
Actually gave them the little iPad, because that in itself is exciting for the student to have at the very beginning. It will be engaging. And I also like the fact that what was going on your PowerPoint was also what I was able to see and do at the same time. I knew it took a lot of technical savvy to get it to that point. The thing that I really think that really came out of your whole PowerPoint is that you took time to think of ways to try to help, to come up with some sort of solution, because a lot of these things are things that are just beyond thinkable, because you can't answer for everybody and what their whole issue is. But if you could get some of the people, and I think the fact that you're trying to decrease the dropout rate will increase test scores as far as your hypothesis goes. So I think you did a really good job.